white crockery on the cookhouse table instead of 10 plates. Look at that. Even sheets, by God. Mail and newspapers almost every day. Hot showers, electric light, even telephones.
That's progress, partner.
Before I get to highlighting this here story, I want to set you straight about timber tramps logging. Logging is a mighty fine profession, and timber tramps are the men that follow it. It's true, we never stay long in one place for one reason or another, but we give a good day's work for the pay while we're there. Well, my partner Matt Jury and me was riding herds on this pack of billy goats for weeks trying to make loggers out of them. Till all of a sudden, the law of averages started to catch up. Now, we had a good reason for quitting this last camp, but it sure come at an opportune time. Besides, there's a saying in the logging camps that's got a lot of meaning.
Deacon, get packed!
When they start calling you by your first name, it's time to move on. And moving on is what a timber tramp does most of. Yes, sir, we were on our way to a mighty exciting new place. Of course, Matt didn't know it yet. I figured to get him mellowed up a mite before springing Corey's letter on him.
Oh, say, I gotta show you this new picture of my two boys. They're going to school down in San Francisco now and doing real fine. Oh, say, Susie, would you get me some change for the jukebox? I need a little noise and commotion in here to sort of hone up my thirst. Thank you.
Is that old timber tramp really up to little kids like this?
If he does, he misplaced them 30 or 40 years ago. He probably cut that picture out of some barbershop magazine.
Oh, to be 70 again.
Drinking buddy?
So what do I owe this unexpected pleasure?
Well, maybe I'm a social worker. Just here to see that you loggers have a real good time.
Well, it's mighty kind of you, miss. I am having a very difficult time getting rid of my money. Hey, you're a cute little thing.
I have some champagne at my place.
You better run along, honey.
Okay, Pops. But what's all the money for?
For the compliment. So long, baby.
You getting a job done?
It's too gall-danged hard getting rid of it anymore. I'm going to save my money on the next show. Maybe buy me a nice little general store over in Puyallup or Maple Valley and settle down.
Deacon, you're a loner, a drifter, a timber tramp. You ain't ever gonna sink roots.
Oh, man, Kennedy puts his mind to it. How about you, Matt?
I guess a man can't help dreaming sometimes. Remember last year, that little town in Idaho we got so excited about, quit and headed for it? And by the time we got there, we'd heard so much about it, we didn't even stop, just kept right on going.
Well, time might come when you can't heft a chainsaw or swing an axe anymore. What then?
Well, then I'll chew the damn trees down like a termite. Now, let's quit wasting time. We got a hell of a lot of cash to drink up.
Well, this was as good a time as ever to spring Corey's letter. Here goes.
Say, Matt, I got this letter a couple of days ago from a woman.
Oh, I ain't interested.
From Alaska.
Well, I especially ain't interested in Eskimo women.
She's no Eskimo. She runs a logging camp. Business belongs to her husband, but he got himself killed about a year ago. She's been trying to carry on. She needs help bad. There's a sawmill outfit that's just aching to take over her whole business.
Well, next to female loggers, I care a damn sight less about sliver pickers.
They're giving this woman a mighty rough time, Matt. They killed her husband with a runaway logging truck. Then they said it was an accident. And they putting the squeeze on it at the bank. And they're cheating her on the board feet she's delivered. Well, just let me read just part of this letter, Matt. This could be a real old-time logging show, Deacon. The kind you used to say was gone forever. First of all, the timber here is a real challenge. You need a sky hook just to hang on the side of the mountains to get at our big ones. We're cutting real nice saw timber, but the mill is paying us for pulp logs at half price and cheating us even on that. Our camp here are really different. Built right on log rafts in the water. Bunkhouses, cookhouses, and everything. Worst of all, Deacon, they're sabotaging my camp. In the last month, they've wrecked 2 cats and 8 logging trucks, and last week, a whole raft of logs was cut loose, towed around the island so the tide would wash it up against the glacier walls. There wasn't a log left to salvage by morning. $20,000 gone in one night's dirty work. I need help, Deacon.
Where is this place?
How did you know? Sounds like a real nice logging camp, don't it?
What woman you know that would write to you from Alaska?
Now, Matt, I'm just about to tell you it was from Corey.
You just didn't happen to hear from her. You've been suckering me into this, you greasy-mouthed, sneaky old son of...
Be angry and sin not. Don't let the sun go down upon thy wrath. 2nd verse, Deuteronomy.
Stand up.
What for?
Because I want the biggest one in the room.
Oh, why don't you go away, bro? You're already drunk and we just working on it.
I said stand up. You're the biggest spear chucker I've ever seen.
I hope you brought your lunch, because I'm going to work your butt overtime. 20-1 on me.
Deacon, if you either got a pipeline to the big hook tender, get him a message. I need help right now.
The Lord helps those who help themselves.
Now get in there and win.
It's not going to do you any good praying, old man. Next time, I'm going to unscrew your neck and feed it to the dogs.
Right in the kisser.
Killing Redwood. Sorry, Cookie.
As my friend the deacon would say, it's time for this sinner to repent.
Hallelujah, brother!
How tall are you anyway?
Right down the same height as you.
Mad Jury.
Redwood Rosenblum.
Ain't you the black boomer?
That's what they call me.
Deacon, if we're gonna go to Alaska,
We can get a crew at Limey Lills.
Alaska? If that doesn't mean gold, my name ain't Redwood Rosenblum. Hey, fella!
Now, Limey Lills, the best place in the Northwest to pick up a crew.
Good to see you, Deacon.
It looked like we'd hit the jackpot, all right. Didn't take long to find out Swede Larson was in jail and Hallback was up to his old tricks of giving Lil's girls a bad time.
Big push! And the deacon will pray for our souls. Now he can have us a real high-lead show.
And Matt wants to take you off on a job with him.
A job? Are you kidding? No way. I ain't going back to work until I'm broke.
Deacon, get his clothes.
You can't Shanghai a man anymore.
He's all yours.
Hi, Swede.
Oh, man. Hey,
Swede.
so you're the ones that sprung me. Funny, the judge said no bail. How'd you know I was in here?
Now, if volunteering for the Alaska show surprised the Hallback Jack some, it didn't do any the less for Swede Larson.
You don't owe me any favors.
Now, we couldn't stand the thought of a top-money fella tramp like you doing 6 months hard labor for the state for free.
Thanks. Next time you're in jail, I hope I'm out so I can return the favor.
Matt and Swede plain rubbed each other wrong. They'd been looking to have it out for years. So we was the last ones this side of Hades Swede would have expected to spring him.
The judge released you to my custody.
I might have known there was a catch.
Well, the catch is I promised His Honor to get you the hell out of his state right now.
Suits me. I'll catch a plane to Reno or Frisco.
Can't do that, Swede. Judge says you gotta go with us or back in jail.
And we're going to Alaska.
Alaska?
Redwood, get Hallback.
about water?
I've been shanghaied by the Eskimo Navy.
Ooh, look at all this steep ground.
Hey, man. I'm supposed to, like, make welcome and orient you guys. You running the show?
I should be, but, try him.
Thanks. You Matt Jury?
You work in this camp?
Yeah, I'm a choker setter.
Get your hair cut.
Why, you think that'll help me get more log?
It'll help save your life.
Well, that's okay. I can live with my hair the way it is.
I'm the camp push now, and I don't put up with long hairs. You can't see what you're doing. You get yourself killed, or even worse, you get a good man killed. Now you shave and cut that hair, or else pack your bag and get out.
You over here asking.
I did. I just forgot to say please.
You want a hand, kid?
Yeah, thanks.
You sure made a big splash with the boss there, kid.
Shame to spoil that reflection. I was afraid to spit on it.
Here you go.
All right. Who's a big muscle man? We got plenty of muscle around here. Hope we were getting some brains.
He's got a few. He's right, you know. Long hair can be dangerous in the woods.
Yeah, so how come Daniel Boone never killed himself?
I just let the kid know that he was seeing the sweeter side of your nature.
I don't need you prettying me up. I handle the men. I give the orders, no questions asked. Now, you get that straight right now.
So he made an understandable mistake thinking that I was a big push. Just because I look like the boss, that doesn't mean that I'm trying to buck for your job.
Swede, I'm gonna whittle your tail down to the bone working with me.
Fine. It beats talking to you, so let's just keep it that way, huh?
Get the new men settled in the bunkhouse. I'll check in.
Hi. I'm Shug. I'm the cook. I do the cooking. I'll show you where the boss is.
All right.
There's the boss. But I've never seen your old Gussie doesn't like that before.
I can find my way from here.
Hello, Matt.
For years, I wondered how it would be seeing you again. I had plenty of time to think up 50 real mean ways of telling you off.
Try one if it'll help.
You're looking good, Corey. Awful good.
I always knew you'd go blind, working in the sun all day without sunglasses.
And a logger once told me that all Eskimo women were fat and greased up with whale oil.
Most loggers in lower 48 don't know much about Alaska.
Or women.
Matt, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your coming.
Now, I was halfway here before I found out it was your camp I was coming to.
Well, I appreciate it anyway. Want to come in for coffee while I give you the bad news?
It was mighty good just to see Matt and Corey together again after all these years. And it was a good feeling to know we was needed.
And Richards and Fraser are making them all shorter by the minute.
Are those the sawmill owners?
They really itch to take over this operation. They carry a lot of weight.
Well, we can squeeze time and stretch money, but I gotta have men. I just brought the Swede, Deacon, Hallback Jack, and Redwood Rosenblum.
Well, they're the cream of the crop. I have heard those names all my life, all except the Swede. Do I know him?
Well, he bugs me, but he's good. He'll be my side route. I can use him any place in the whole show.
Good. Let's finish our coffee in the living room.
I've only got 30 men left since the sawmill people started sabotaging us. Can you make it go with that?
Depends on how many long-haired punks you got in the bunch.
How many what?
The hippies, kids with the long hair and the beards.
Well, I haven't got any hippies. But there's one 18-year-old boy up here with long hair. My son, Pete.
I just tossed him in the drink.
Why, Matt?
I told him to get his hair cut, and he handed me some lip.
I'm sure he'll understand.
Well, I don't think he'll understand, but...
There's many a man that loves but once, one woman for true in his whole life. Well, from that jury, that woman was Corey Sykes. I was sure hoping whatever happened between them was 18 years buried. They both had a chance now to pick up the pieces and start a new life and forget the past.
Matt, I didn't dump you. I didn't want to break up either, no matter how you remember it. There were other reasons. But I don't want to look back.
I never asked any other woman to marry me before or since.
Matt, you're a timber tramp who's got to be free. Always moving on to new places, new faces, never backtracking.
Well, you didn't give me a chance, Corey. I might have backtracked. You ran off and married the first guy that came along.
After all these years, I don't want to quarrel. It's just so good to see you again.
I guess you did what you had to do. Maybe I gave you good reason. You know, a man gets older, he might not get any smarter, but sometimes he starts using the brains he's been handed. It's kind of late, but this kind of living looks real nice and cozy to me right now.
Next week, next month, maybe, when the challenge of the new job wears off, you and Deacon will be gone.
You want to bet?
We're not kids anymore, Matt. Don't say anything unless you really mean it.
Hey! You just ran a stoplight! You damn Sunday driver!
Right like a kitten now. The innards of this thing was all jiggered up 6 ways from Sunday.
A little sawmill sabotage? Listen, get this thing up on that ridge and start ripping rocks.
Okay, partner. I hate to be bothering you in the middle of a busy day, but I got a real mean problem here. It'd only take a minute of your time if you used to give me just a little bit of a boost, and I thank you kindly. I reckon you got a heap of things to take care of. and you most likely didn't get my message a minute ago. But this is a mighty steep mountain. Now listen, I'm alone here. I gotta get the cat up at the top of this mountain, damn it! I mean, partner.
Bringing in the sheep, we shall come rejoicing, bringing in the sheep, bringing in the sheep.
Well, the big push lit a fire under the whole camp right off, and we was back doing what the good Lord made us for, getting logs. Yes, sir, we was sweating and a-straining for most a month before our body could see a change, but we were stockpiling a heap of logs, too. We was most ways into the second month before me and Matt got things puffing along on a good schedule. It was a happy camp, too, but the boys was getting a little fretty about a trip to town. And maybe not quite as watchful as they should have been. Watch out for that little farm.
You're making it awful tough on the old deacon. Your mom knows she shouldn't have you in here. If you don't watch out, you're never going to get old enough to vote.
I hadn't had the pleasure of meeting yet, must have figured Corey's operation would be easy to grab off, because we didn't see hide nor hair of him all that time. But we was soon to find out that this pair of dime store dudes wasn't your ordinary run-of-the-mill owner nasties. What they was a couple of sanctimonious hypocrites that sooner or later would have to be read to right out of the scriptures, and I figured they'd come snooping around pretty quick now, seeing as how everything was getting all settled down nice and calm again.
Hey, Mom. Looks like those sawmill sharks are giving us the once-over again.
Hey, Corey's got a lot of action going again.
It's a new bunch of tramps you just brought in.
Who's heading them up?
A fellow named Matt Jury. But the loggers tell me he can do it all on his own. He's considered the best camp push there is.
Yeah, I've heard about him. Real fireball. Well, we'll just have to slow him down a little.
Now, Joe, I'm as determined as you are to get this outfit in the proper hands for the sake of the lumber industry. No job for a woman. Corey's so far behind, she'll never make the schedule.
By the new look of things, she just might make it.
How'll she make it?
That jury's hiring new men. All the loggers want to work for him. He's paying by the scale book.
That's how she'll make it, Artie. A man can make a bundle if he really wants to work. So, Louie, I think you better hustle over and sign up with Corey and make your fortune.
Me, I thought I was going to help clobber her show.
That's right. You can do that much better working right smack in the middle of it.
All these loggers that come out here bring nothing with them except a pack sack and a briefcase.
That's right, and I say the bastards ought to go out the same way.
With all ethical means available.
Oh, yeah, by all means, Artie. Let's always be ethical.
Just wondering, has the Forest Service given an examination lately?
Yeah, we can have the Rangers throw them some rules and regulations, Artie. You're a genius.
Oh, boy.
See, you got yourself sheared. You can go to work with the choker setters now.
Yeah, thanks a lot. First, I'd like to discuss something.
Shoot.
I don't think the sawmill gives us a fair count when we deliver.
You mean they use the long thumb like all the bastards do?
Right. I've got an idea. We might...
I'll handle it. You put your good ideas on the end of that mainline cable.
Put out your campfires and pick up your trash. Here comes Smokey the Bear.
Howdy, boys. I'm Parker. Assigned to the area? U.S. Forestry Service.
Damn, I thought you was our scoutmaster.
I assume you're all familiar with the government regulations for cutting down timber? You've heard of sustained yield?
Mister, I was harvesting trees before somebody thought up that fancy expression. Now, don't you worry. I'll run this operation so that you got plenty of saw timber coming along.
Page 327 in our manual, the Forest Service Bible, Section B, Paragraph 8, lines 8, 9, and 10, very clearly state that all logging operations on the North Tongass will be clear-cutting practices only, in order to maximize fully the utilization of our resources. Now you've been block cutting here.
Yes, sir, that sure as hell's what we're doing.
Well, we can't allow that. Either you'll clear cut here or you won't cut at all. Is that clear? Now, look, you can log up on that ridge, and then you can move in here.
You know there ain't no decent timber on that ridge. Just snags and scrub and hard to get stuff. And besides that, it's hanging on a mountain that damn near runs straight up and down. And it's in about 6 inches of dirt on that rock. You cut that timber, and in a year, the whole side of that mountain's gonna wash away.
I'm very, very sorry. It's a regulation. So you clean it and reseed it. What we've got to be concerned about, first of all, is getting new trees started. Do you know that just one edition of a Sunday newspaper with a circulation of one...
I'll tell you something else about your Sunday paper. You and your silly regulations ought to be on a comic page.
Do you mean to say you refuse to obey a government ordinance?
All right, we'll clear the damn ridge. I'll do it myself. Those trees are all rotten, but I'll fall them. Now, if you'd like to come along and supervise, I'll be glad to drop the first tree right on your head and drive you in the ground like a tent stake.
Well...
Never saw anybody fall trees like that before. This man knows what he's doing. You gotta be able to put them right where you want them. You know, working that steep ground, he's using what we call the Arkansas drive. You know what that is? Well, get several of them ready to fall, then you drop one on the whole bunch and they all go. I guess he really meant he was going to do it himself. Listen, kid, when Matt says he's going to do it alone, the best thing to do is just stand back and watch.
I sure hope that stuttering cook fixes a good supper. Just watching Matt clean off the rest of that mountain's got me starved.
Man, I sure hope Matt's in a good mood. I'd like to get him up for 2 months' salary.
2 months? We've only been here a month. Yeah, but I trusted him for a month. Why can't he trust me for one?
Take him over to the antenna pole.
Hey, what are you doing to him?
Well, he calls himself a cook. He's gonna have to learn.
What'd he do?
He was gonna serve us mashed potatoes without gravy.
Let me down. I'll fix gravy. I'll fix any kind of thing. I'll fix you anything. Let me down. Hey, come on. Let me down.
Have you learned your lesson?
Yeah, I'll fix your gravy anytime you want it.
Right on down.
That's another thing, man. I want to save this country from big muscle-bound gravy eaters like that.
I'll fix your gravy for breakfast. Oh, you're a good man.
I like you. All right, untie him.
Always like you.
Whiskey made me break my nose. If whiskey gets too close to my nose, I tip her up and down she goes. Oh, whiskey is the life of man, Johnny. It always was since the world began, Johnny. Oh, whiskey straight or whiskey strong. Give me some whiskey, I'll sing you a song. Oh, whiskey is the life of man, Johnny. Oh, whiskey is the life of man, Johnny. It always was since the world began, Johnny. Oh, whiskey straight or whiskey strong. Give me some whiskey, I'll sing you a song. Oh, whiskey is the life of man, Johnny. Oh, whiskey is the life of man, Johnny. It always was since the world began, Johnny. Oh, whiskey straight or whiskey strong. Give me some whiskey, I'll sing you a song. Oh, whiskey is the life of man, Johnny.
Well, they got the white coffee on the table, but at least it's a man's camp.
Yeah, it's the same with the old doll beer donkey days. They're gone, too. Do you figure there's any camps left that we haven't hit?
Lots of them.
Good, you can join up with us. How many feet of timber you figure you can cut in a day?
Maybe 20,000 feet.
You're going to be the poorest man in camp. Fellas around here can cut 30,000. The big push can cut 50, no sweat.
Maybe I'll have to speed up some, seeing as how I'm such fast company.
Maybe. Oh, say, I'd like to show you a picture of my two boys. They go to school down in San Francisco.
Now, I'm not one of those I told you so fellers, but I suspicion something about that big lunker right off.
You know, boss, I'm not mad at you anymore for running me up that pole. All my life I've stuttered, but I don't do it no more. I'm completely cured. I don't stutter anymore.
We may have to run you up that pole again.
I should have followed him out of the cookhouse right then and there. Shoot. Any man that don't like kids and dogs can't be trusted nohow.
You really plan to go with the Forest Service, huh?
Well, 30 years ago, maybe, a forester wasn't much more than a botanist. Well, bug chasers, the loggers used to call them. Not anymore, man. Today, they're graduates of accredited forestry schools. Of course, there still are some stubborn loggers around who think it's a cop-out to admit that the Forest Service put conservation science into logging and saved the whole lumber industry.
Sweet. I ever tell you about the time I had this thing growing on my backside? I couldn't see what it was, but it just hurt like hell. I finally had to have a doc cut it off. You know what it was? A forest ranger. Those things can be a real pain in the ass.
Is that Matt in the cookhouse?
Oh, yeah, he's in there all right. Hiding from the 20th century.
Sure never occurred to Matt or me that we had a spy right inside our own logging camp. But all in all, Artie Frazier wasn't finding much to laugh about either. Except they knew our plans and we didn't know theirs.
Yeah, it's a funny country. Kind of new and different, though. Big, wild, raw.
Yeah, it's raw.
You know, I was lying here thinking, if I was to stay on a couple of seasons, I could send for my boys on summer vacation.
Why don't you just go to sleep?
It's a good place for young fellas.
Deacon, wherever your kids are now, they're not young fellas anymore. They're better off never hearing from you.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
I know I'm right. I was a discard. Raised from a pup by a mining family in Butte. Once when I was 16, my old man wrote me a letter. It's the only time I ever heard from him in my life. He sounded real friendly. He wanted me to write him back. I tried. I tried 10 times. What did I have to say? I didn't even know how to get started. Dear sir.
Yeah, some men just wasn't created to be husbands and fathers.
Or else they get the urge too late.
And Louis said this. Jury stripped that entire ridge all by himself. Now they're back to whacking away at that good timber stronger than ever.
You're a born worrier, Artie.
Somebody's got to worry.
We just have to put a little more pressure on them.
Time the substantial elements of this industry took power.
Oh, your concern for this industry is very touching, Artie. You can't even level with yourself. It was your idea to put the Forest Service on their backs. Now, do you want to grab off Corey's operation or not?
A gentleman doesn't grab off anything. He simply picks it up quietly and gently.
Oh, will you lay off?
Of course I want to grab off.
Will you lay off that sanctimonious crap?
Morally, we're entitled to it.
If we can delay them just 1 week, they'll never make the schedule.
Fortunately, there's a long 3-day holiday coming up this weekend. And that meeting of the Lumbermen's Association in Juneau.
Yeah. That could be a very profitable weekend.
I'd give anything if you'd sit in for me at the meeting, Matt.
I'd just as soon go to a Sunday school picnic or listen to some damn fool ranger give a campfire talk.
I just gotta stay here and work on accounts and payroll and a dozen other things that have piled up.
First time in
The weather was staying good for us, and we were all looking forward to the big holiday in Juneau. Matt and Corey were finding more and more time to get together and less need for reasons. It was pretty plain that Matt was happier than I'd seen him in many years. But I don't think he was quite prepared for the prestigious position he was about to be handed.
Just wait a minute. You mean I gotta run the show too?
Frank was chairman when he died. I became chairman. That means you'll be the chairman.
You're trying to make it tough for me to fill Frank's shoes, Corey.
Don't be silly. There's nothing at all to being a chairman.
All right, I'll take a stab at it. I just hope it's short and sweet.
Thanks. And you'll have plenty of time to do the town after.
Yes, sir. From all the signs, it sure seemed like I had done the right thing, bringing Matt and Corey together again.
Glad to get to see Alaska, although I don't know if I could ever get used to this much sunlight.
I want you to know how grateful I am for the way you've taken over this camp and gotten it moving. I'm beginning to see a future now.
Well, we got a good crew.
Great. And you were right about Newt.
Newt who?
Newt Larson, the Swede. He's real good.
Oh, yeah, he's good.
You know, in many ways, he's very much like you, except...
Except what?
I was going to say except with the rough edges polished off.
You know, Pete says that he's really bright about...
Oh, yeah, he's very bright. I gotta get back to work. Getting logs is what I'm good at.
Okay, Juneau, here we come!
Where are you going?
Oh, now that's a stupid question.
Well, I'm talking to a stupid tramp.
You got something to say?
Yeah. You ain't going to Juneau.
Oh, come on. I got as much right to get drunk as
You're
anybody.
gonna stay here and head up to camp until I get back, just in case the sawmill boys decide to pay us a little visit.
Promote somebody else. Hey, D!
He don't want to be the camp push. I always figured you did. This will give you a couple of days to play it. I just told Swede he'll be the camp push till I get back.
Good. I feel better with Newt in charge.
I always say, Newt, when they start calling you by your first name, it's time to move on. I wish the hell I were going in there with you.
I'll try to keep him from drinking it dry until you get here.
All right, the meeting will come to order. Corey has asked me to represent her here this evening. Now, we got a lot of new business to take care of, so let's get rid of the old business as fast as we can.
Mr. Chairman, how about that transportation for the...
And gentlemen, I consider the support of these 4 students in forestry school the most important charitable project of the Lumbermen's Association. Now, as you all know, my mill has contributed generously to this fund. Now, I'm prepared to give $1,000 more if you gentlemen will raise the balance to buy and maintain automobiles for these students. Then I'm prepared to give another $1,000.
Now, it seems to me if the mill's got so much money to throw around, it could ease up a little on Corey's side.
That's not the subject up for discussion, Mr. Chairman. Now, as I was about to say...
Well, it's taken you a hell of a long time to say it. Now, my men are waiting for me over at the Red Dog Saloon, and I got some serious drinking to do.
I'll be as brief as possible so you can get to your important business.
He's rude,
Well, as
he's
you know,
crude, and he's
Joe,
uncouth.
bank gives more than
I can't understand how a man like that is in charge of a meeting of such high caliber. The very thought of it makes me nauseous.
Now, I will give that extra $1,000 if you gentlemen will do your share and meet me halfway. Thank you. Marty, you've heard the man. Get over to the Red Dog.
What about the sheriff?
He'll be there waiting.
Now, there was something going on here, and I meant to find out what it was.
Don't worry, Sheriff. We just want to keep him tied up at that meeting.
I should have guessed those 2 wood beetles would have hatched up one of their schemes. Diabolical, is what it was. Divide and conquer. Oldest trick in the books. Get Matt into a spot between a rock and a hard place at the meeting, while Stay keeps me too distracted to advise him out. Yes, sir, diabolical is what I call it.
Oh, thank you, Your Majesty. Oh, you girl?
Yeah.
Me boy.
Oh, good.
This could be serious.
Thank you. Now, I simply have to know exactly how many of you are planning to attend the convention in Spokane this year. I don't know exactly how many pennants or nameplates or candy striped hats to order. And speaking from a public relations point of view, I think it's very important that we be recognized as a group representing the honest and pioneering spirit of Alaska.
Bullshit. Let's get on with the meeting.
Come on, let me go, Redwood. Come on. So hard to... Come on. Stop that bottle. Let me go, Redwood.
Now, as you all know, we're going to wear those special-made red jackets at the convention. An excellent suggestion was made that we have the words Alaska Lagers printed on the lapels. And then another suggestion was that we have the printing in much larger letters on the back, across the shoulders. Now, can anyone think of a better place?
On your...
Come on, step up.
I mean it.
Let's go.
I'm going to knock you off your ass.
Yeah, you have it. Come on. Your joke.
Gentlemen,
Let's go. Come on.
for the next hour, drinks are in the house.
Dave for the bell. For in a sinner's short life, a fight is just another battle. But a free drink is an event, especially in the Red Dog Saloon. And when I spotted the dude sneak-eyeing us, well, I didn't need no brick falling on me to figure out what was going on.
Hey, bartender, you having a little special doings in the back room?
Sheriff always drinks back there. He don't like to throw cold water on the fun out front.
Who's that feller with him?
That's Shorty Fraser.
What does he do?
He's part owner of the sawmill with Joe Richards.
Fraser wants us to keep Mad Jerry from getting back from the meeting.
He's tough. I know where we can get a couple baseball bats.
Good. We can wait in the alley and get us a home run or two on his head.
Right.
Now, the last thing I would have believed was Matt Jory running some gall-dang lumberman's meeting or other. When those two sawmill dudes went right along with the meeting arrangements, so nice and easy, I should have smelled a rat. But the truth is, I was momentarily distracted. Well, sir, there's only one way to handle a couple of would-be toughs, now that I knew their game plan. Now, these two looked like pretty good candidates for the Alcoholics Anonymous, but there was other ways to sober them up, too. Mighty quick, too.
I know that most of you have been smarting under the restrictive government timbering regulations. And I say we've got to present a solid front. Now, if I can get all your signatures on that petition, I'll go straight to the governor and I'll demand that he...
Meeting's adjourned until tomorrow.
Just a minute. Tomorrow is Saturday. I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, and tomorrow is my Sabbath.
And meeting's adjourned till Sunday.
You can't do that either. Sunday's my Sabbath. I suggest we meet again on Monday.
There ain't going to be no meeting on Monday, neither. That's our Sabbath. We're going to be drunk the whole dang day.
Hold it! All right, you've had it. Everybody back to the boat.
What's going on here?
Well, nothing, Sheriff. We're leaving peaceful. The boys are homesick. They want to get back to the camp.
Hey, I'm not leaving till I finish my drink.
It's finished. All right, let's go.
Peace, brother.
That man Jory is crude, utterly unprincipled.
Yeah, getting so you can hardly trust anybody these days. Also, he's a lot smarter than we gave him credit for.
Now what?
You get word to Louis.
Louis only a timber faller. What can Louis do?
He can drop a tree in the wrong place at exactly the right time, like on Matt Jory's skull. Oh, ethically, of course. Ethically.
Bringing in the sheaves, we shall come rejoicing, bringing in the sheaves.
Now, daydreaming is a big part of any old man's life, and the most fun. But daydreaming can be downright dangerous, too.
Look out!
Who dropped this tree? I wasn't counting noses. I was just ducking and praying.
I think that new man, Pack Sack Louis, was cutting here.
Damn it, Sweet, keep your eye on these timber beats.
I can't keep my eye on the whole show.
Well, then try keeping your mind on it.
Whatever the hell that means.
Somebody get a saw over here and hack this thing off.
Thank you, Lord, for saving my life.
You better thank the lash-up that made the canopy on this cat. That's what saved your miserable hide.
Almost ruined my hat.
show. I tried to tell him an idea the other day.
He hasn't listened to an idea since someone told him he could cut down a tree and make a buck.
Well, I don't think we get an honest scale from the mill when we deliver our logs. My idea was I thought we might call in the Forest Service. And then they can scale the trucks for us.
Yeah, and they can scale the trucks for you. The sawmill boys can't argue the board feet if the scale book's been figured by Smokey the Bear.
Well, I ain't saying that Swede Larson wasn't a nice fella, but he sure wasn't above stealing somebody else's good idea, especially when it made him look good in the boss lady's eyes.
Tell you yet, but, well, I want you to know that I really appreciate all the consideration you've given Pete.
Yeah, well, he's a pretty sharp boy.
Well, it's not easy for him mixing with the men, being so young and the son of the boss and everything.
I don't worry about him. He's got a lot of character. Comes by it pretty honestly.
Thank you, sweet. That was a very nice thing for you to say.
Yeah?
I want to try an idea on you. Might save us a lot of trouble at the mill.
All right, shoot.
Well, they never agree with our scale book. So why don't we call in the Forest Service? Have them scale everything. That would make it official.
Tell Swede I don't need his ideas. When we deliver to the mill, I'll see we get what's coming to us, including the raft you lost. But I'll do it my way.
Say, how many damn logs you gonna put on this thing?
You just take care of the driving. I'll take care of the loading.
Sure as glory, the showdown between Matt and Swede was coming. It was just a question of time. With all the pressure, Matt wasn't in the best of moods these days, and I was sure hoping Swede would walk a little lighter on it. But I guess that was just daydreaming on my part.
Well, this shore's moving like greased lightning now that we got these big skidders rolling.
There's other ways to make it work, too, but Matt doesn't want to hear about it.
Yeah, I noticed he's kind of been nipping at your tail.
Yeah, what's bugging him? He sprung me out of jail so I could work this show. Why? We never were very friendly. If he brought me up here just so we could get to be enemies, he's doing it all right.
But Matt's sort of like this big skidder here. Once you get it headed downhill and get up a full head of steam, there ain't no stopping it till it gets where it's going.
Well, in all the years we've been tramping together, I know that his bark's a hell of a lot worse than his bite, but I'll tell you something. I'm not going to take any more pushing around.
Then kablooey, it happened. With everything else going on, we short-figured Fraser and Richard's meanness. And that's when they hit us where it hurt the most. The new road Swede was building and our heavy equipment. Diabolical. That's what it was. Those mill rats wasn't satisfied just crippling up the machinery. They wanted to do likewise for the key man, me.
was Pack Sack Louie.
Taking your big man out on the crew? What the hell's the matter with you?
Nothing's the hell's the matter with me. That dirty bastard just dropped a tree on a skid trail. He's the one that's been sabotaging everything. Now, keeping an eye on the men is part of what you're getting paid for. If you'd have been checking closer, instead of shining up to the boss lady, that would never have happened.
Get off my back, will ya? I figured the smartest thing she ever did was dump you 20 years ago.
You just let your mouth overload your ass.
Sweet and the big push are having at it. Come on. Hot damn! This is gonna be the biggest fight of the century. Let's go! Come on. Hey, come on, get up, come on. Let's go. Come on, man. That's it. Get in, come on, man. Get in, come on. Let's go. Come on, man. That's it. Get in, come on, man. Get in, come on. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Hold it. Who wants to bet on the fight?
What odds you laying?
2-1, take your pick.
Hell, I'll take $100 on the push.
Now, got it.
Push. That's me. Come on, man.
Come on. I'll take 50 on Swede. Come on, Swede. Come on.
Come on, push.
I'm betting all I have on the big push. Except maybe $100. Come on, man. Come on now.
Get them. Go, push.
Dang fools. Chopping each other up over a woman. There won't be enough left of either one of them to make a decent match for a midget.
This had to happen. I've seen it coming for a long time. To hell with you. To hell with the whole camp. I'm going into town and get drunk for 3 months. And I don't want to see any of you in my saloon.
To my knowledge, he hasn't even turned around in 24 hours.
Well,
he's got to drop like a 10-ton boulder soon.
I'll feel much better when he does. You know, this whole affair holds much broader implications than just Corey's operation. If they meet this deadline, every logger in Alaska is going to get more nervy, and I'm getting tired of being Mr. Good Guy to these loggers, Artie.
Well, look who's worried me. Right will prevail. That whole operation is grinding to a standstill.
Maybe. But I can't feel secure as long as that guy is still upright.
We're never going to make it, Pete. Those truckloads are just getting smaller and farther apart all the time.
We'll make it, Ma. Sweet's pushing just as hard as he can.
I know, but there's something missing.
Oh, what's missing? Man, I just don't dig. What's so special about him?
You would if you knew him better. Matt has a knack for holding a crew together, making the men push harder to keep up with him. He knows how to put pace and excitement into a show, Pete. They don't come any better.
I'm damn tired of everyone telling me just how great Matt Jury is.
Funny?
What?
The way Matt and the kids seem to get their hair up at one another.
What's so funny about that?
Because they're really a lot alike in a lot of ways.
There's a reason for that, Sweet.
I guess you're going into town to find Matt, huh?
You're damn right. As soon as I finish this tank, I'm gonna go tell Jury not everyone thinks he's so great.
Well, I'd like to talk to you for a minute, son. When your mom was a little girl, I was logging boss for her dad down in Washington. I saw your mom grow up from a little girl to become a beautiful woman. And then one day, this young fella come to work for us. Well, him and your mom fell head over heels in love. I'd never seen two happier kids in my life. But he was a timber tramp, wild as a March hare, never had a family or a home of his own. And then one day they had a quarrel. It was a bad one. And he just up and left.
Was that guy Matt Jury?
Yeah. And he's still in love with your ma, even to this day. But he is a mighty independent man. But he's a good man, too, son.
How come nobody ever told me?
Well, when you get old, there are a lot of things in this whole life that's mighty hard to explain.
Deacon, is there more to this story?
Matt Jury was your mom's first love, and she's still mighty fond of him after all this time. But the important thing now is that your mom needs Matt to save this here logging camp from being taken away from her.
Deacon, but what happened?
Now, that's all. I've got nothing more to say. Now, you go ahead and do whatever it is you've got to do.
Thanks, Deacon.
Matt gone, it was up to me to keep things going. Shucks, this wasn't the first camp I'd put back on its feet, and God willing, it wouldn't be the last. Oh, when I was young and handsome, it was my heart's delight to go to balls and parties and stay out late at night. It was at a ball she met me. I asked her for a dance. She knew I was a logger by the way I wore my pants. Truck shop. Come in, truck shop.
This is the truck shop. Go ahead.
This is the Deacon. I'm riding Miller's truck. I think my brakes are failing.
Why, those brakes are brand new, Deacon. Pump them.
Pump 'em, hell, there ain't nothing to pump. Lord, I ain't got time to pray now, but this is the Deacon riding this here truck. Do you hear me? Attention all traffic on 9 Mile grade. Everybody clear the road. I'm riding Miller's rig and she's running wild.
Deacon, this is a truck shop. I think there's traffic in front of you.
I'll stay with her as long as I can. But clear that damn road. Lord, don't let these front tires go. Here we go.
Deacon, this is the truck shop. This is truck 7 just past the front end loader. It's between you and Zigback Freight. I repeat, there is a loader between you and Zigback Freight, so pass one inside. They got no radio.
If I can get past them, I'm leaving her in the turn. She's running wild. Clear the road.
Attention all traffic on 9 Mile grade. Attention all traffic on 9 Mile grade. Deacon's riding a runaway. Clear the road. I repeat, Deacon's riding a runaway, so clear the road. All right, you're in the clear, Deacon. Now get out of there. Get out of there now. You're in the clear, Deacon. Get out of there. Get out of there now. Go.
I'm at Zigback. I'm leaving now. Deacon, are you all right?
Swallowed my chew. For a minute there, I thought I heard the squeaky gates of heaven opening. I lost my hat.
I'll go find it for you, Deacon. Don't move till I get back.
Sure hope I didn't ride that truck down.
Well, living through that runaway truck was quite an event. But you know, it was kind of forgotten along the wayside with the return of the big bush and young people.
Matt, thanks for coming back.
Well, who else is gonna get the job done here? I've got the knack, right? I'm gonna clear that whole damn mountain all by myself.
No, you're not. I'm gonna help you.
We'll never know what happened in town, but it was pretty plain how Corey felt about Matt's return. Well, here we were, a whole logging camp again. And young Pete took up trying his dangest to be like Matt in every way. And most of the camp knew why.
Well, that's pretty good, Punk, but that ain't a day's work.
Well, surprise, surprise.
Deacon, can we make the deadline at the mill?
Shoot, when Matt Jory can't thump them sawmill dudes, I'll eat my hat.
You suppose you and Matt will ever settle down? I mean, When the job's finished, will you and Matt be staying on?
Honey, you and Matt is the closest thing to a real family I've ever had in my whole life. Nothing would please me more than you two getting together.
But do you think he cares for me? I mean, like I care.
Well, he's a mighty proud man with a deep hurt way inside that's lasted for 18 years. And I never told him about young Pete. You begged me not to, remember?
I wouldn't want him to stay because he feels responsible. I want him to stay because he loves me.
Get your mean ass moving or you're gonna foul up the main line.
Good to hear Mother's soft, sweet voice again, isn't it, boys? Way to hear the man off your dead butts and onto your dang feet. Get moving! Ah, let's go, move it!
We were still 500,000 feet short of the 10 million feet we needed. And the big push was everywhere, taking a strain on every loose end of the operation.
Drop those damn trees downhill toward the lead.
Yes, sir, the going got hard and then got harder. On the men, the machines, and especially on the hats. Whatever worked for the big push, young Pete just took up with the same. It sure was hard on hats, all right. Things were moving real well. Matt and Swede were working as a team, and Redwood was dreaming some fool scheme to bottle ice water for the lower 48. Yes, sir, things were nice and peaceful. Too peaceful, I guess.
I mind the rigging! Slack the whole back! And come ahead with them! Oh, my God!
Just take it easy now. Take it easy. Come on, come on, hold on. Tight on it. Come up easy. Easy, easy. Give me a hand. Easy with him. Easy. Bring him right around.
I worry about dodging 5X wires and a tree hits me.
You're gonna be all right, Hallback.
No chance. But it's the way I always wanted to go. If I just had to go. I never figured I'd do it sober. Hey, Matt. Matt, I'm sure glad I got to see Alaska. The rigging stopped. It'll never stop the show for one man.
There'll be a lot of flues singing the blues. But if he had to go, this is the way he'd choose. With the inn for new country and a swig of rot gut booze.
I'm picking the men that he tramped with to go with me, take him to Juneau for burial. Well, come on, you heard, Hallback. You don't stop the show for just one man.
and I will be with you presently.
Lord, I don't figure you've got a whole lot of time to listen to the likes of me, but if you've got just a minute, I'd like to put in a good word for this friend of ours who's on his way up there to knock on your gate. Don't let his size fool you. He's a lot of man. His name is Haulback Jack Riley. He won't cut much of a figure with those big, famous, real smart folks you got up there, but he can sure liven things up and hand everybody a chuckle now and then. I don't reckon he can play a harp, but he's real good on a musical saw if you got one handy. And I sure hope you like Irish jigs because he's a dandy at them. Now, Lord, I know that in your good book it says, "Put off thy shoes from thy feet, for the place whereon thou standeth is holy ground." Well, Haulback was never much at studying his scriptures. So when you pull out the big scale book to call the names on the daily roll, please remember there's just one worldly goal. Before you in judgment, in his old cork boots, Jack's gonna stand. A logger you put down here to harvest the timber from the lands. So, Lord, please don't judge Haulback by his sins, but by the calluses on his hands.
Sweet. Make sure you get good full loads. We can't make rafts without logs.
Now, you could tramp with a man all your born days and never know him excepting by nickname. And the proper respect was to get done what Haulback would have wanted most, save Corey's logging camp.
Another one for Haulback. Roll it out of here.
Every man Jack took on an extra strain because we had a deadline to meet. And that's the way Haulback would have won.
Two bundles, Redwood. We got it whipped. Get those swifter lines tight. This is one raft that ain't gonna break up. It'll move out in the morning. Sure wish Haulback was here to see it.
Well, the day of glory finally come busting like the sun out of the dark clouds. And there was enough proud in the camp to make its own shadow. There was just one hitch. The big push insisted on finishing the job alone.
Well, Mr. Chairman. Forget that. I just brought in a shipment of logs for Corey Sykes. They're on schedule, so don't try to stall on that score. And we got them all scaled down to the last inch in this book, so don't be using the long thumb.
We're overloaded already. Got more logs than we know what to do with.
I can't prove anything, but I should have kicked your butt up on your left shoulder a long time ago. That's for Haulback Jack. I can't prove anything against you either.
Not necessary at all. We'll be very happy to accept your shipment. I'll make a check out for you right now.
Make it for another 20 grand for that log raft that broke up. And make it cash. The men are waiting to get paid off so they can shove on.
Well, now that's against our policy. Of course, cash.
Yes, sir, the good Lord never did himself no prouder than when he dressed his mountains in the finery of his forest. But when he made the timber tramps, he stirred in a mite too much stubborn and a heap of pride.
Matt, are you sure you have to go? I won't beg you to stay.
The Lord knows I done my best bringing Matt back together with Corey and the boy. But there we was, right back where we'd been 1,000 times before, leaving, and only older.
A lot of them will come back, and you won't have any trouble getting a crew now that the word's out.
But not you.
I never backtrack. You said so yourself, Corey. I guess I'd...
Matt had the choice of two roads he could follow. He could take the turn his heart told him to, or follow his feet the same way we'd always done. And nobody had to tell me what lonely was.
Thanks, Matthew.
Well, it's like they say when they start calling you by your first name, it's time to move on.
Sometimes the way you feel don't have a lot to do with the decisions you have to make.
Kid, you studied a lot and you talk real smart, but let me give you a bit of advice. Don't ever become a timber tramp.
Many was a time during all the years we tramped together that using reverse psychology on Matt was the only answer. He was a man that couldn't be pushed, not even an inch. And acting like I wanted us to leave was the best way I knew of getting Matt to stay.
Stubborn bastard.
Life's a long road. Times have changed, but in a lot of ways, you and I haven't. Corey knows that when she needs you, you'll be there.
Deacon? Yeah? You know, we really didn't get finished with that job. And you know, Corey's kid, he still don't know his butt from a bull block about logging.
Will the tramp ever be back, Mom?
In a lot of ways, he's never been gone.
Deke, well, what would you say if I asked you to go back with me for one more season?
Partner, I never thought you'd ask.
Pilot, we're going back.